Welcome to the Client Generation Podcast, a show where we interview some of the most successful people in real estate to help you understand how to generate leads, build a brand, and convert more clients in your business. What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome to the Client Generation Podcast. Really excited today to be joined by the founder and CEO of Follow Up Boss, Mr. Dan Corkill. Excited to jump in and talk about sales and follow-up and technology, conversion, all types of stuff. And so, Dan, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Great to be here.
I'm looking forward to it. So give us just a quick backstory. I know you've built an amazing company, but for those that may not know you, just quick, who are you? How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I sort of decided I want to start my own business. Didn't know a ton about what I was doing, but through a weird mix of things, teamed up with a great software developer, Tom, my partner, and we just went looking for problems, essentially. We talked to a bunch of people in real estate. So 10 years ago, there really wasn't a lot of systems that would help you really automate and combine all your lead sources. And people were starting to get a lot more leads online, and they just didn't really have good systems to follow up with them. And so that was really the problem we set out to solve, to just automate some of that, make it a bit easier. And then, for the last 10 years, we've just been working with a lot of agents and teams, in the USA to, help them grow their businesses. And, we've just obviously been improving the software over that time as well. So, I wasn't a real estate agent before or anything. Like, everyone always asks me that, but we just kind of got into it a weird way. I'm from Australia originally. So yeah.
I think a lot of people, I get that question nonstop. It's like, well, I'm a marketer. I'm an advertiser, and people are like, well, did you sell houses before? I was like, no, I did. And I grew up in real estate, so I probably had a little bit of a passion for the industry, but no, I didn't sell houses. I do think that's funny. There's a nuance in the industry that you can't help somebody unless you've actually sold, which is, we could probably record a different show on that, but that's awesome, man. I know, like I said, you have built a great company at Whitley. We have a ton of shared customers. We have a bunch of people that use Follow Up Boss, and it's always been an incredible experience when we're working inside of the platform to help people. But I want to ask, what are some of the top challenges you're overcoming or helping people overcome today, maybe that are different from when you got started 10 years ago? Because we've come a long way in a decade from a technology standpoint. So what are you seeing are the newer challenges that people are facing as they're using systems like Follow Up Boss?
Yeah, for sure. What's been interesting is, as we grew our own business, a lot of our clients also grew their business with us. So some of our really biggest clients, like a Robert Slack or a Chris Lindow, when we first met them, they were just working by themselves. They're a single agent, and now they have hundreds, of agents working with them. So, I think with that kind of growth, that's sort of at the extreme sort of level. It just becomes a lot more about systems, about sort of higher level leadership. And really, they have very ongoing businesses. And so it's how do I optimize that and get more out of it versus, I think the other flip side of that coin is a lot of people come to us, when they're getting started or they have a newer business, and their question is more about, hey, I need to create more business for myself. How can I do that quickly and ideally cheaply, right? Because, you're starting a business, you don't have a lot of money. And I think that's also what we like helping people with. And I think a challenge for people just getting started is often just knowing what to focus on, what not to focus on. There's so many shiny objects, right? So,
yeah, I have this kind of map in our business. It's called a pyramid of problems. And most agents start and progress the exact same way. Typically when they start, their problem is they don't have enough leads, they don't have any opportunities. So they got to solve that problem. And then as they get more leads, get more opportunity, sales or conversion becomes the problem. So they got to solve that. And then as they start closing a lot of deals, they start working like crazy. They need systems and processes. And so you guys really do help people every step of the way, which is pretty interesting. I want to ask you a question, and you may not know the answer to this, but I don't know how into some of the analytics you guys might get. Are you seeing today, what are some of the top sources of business that agents are using as they're pulling leads into Follow Up Boss?
Yeah, it's very hard sort of to just give a definitive answer. Everyone just wants to just say realtor.com or something, right?
Right.
But I think it's very different in different markets. So yeah, definitely the big portals like realtor.com, Zillow, that's definitely what a lot of our, top clients utilize. For sure, I think all of the strong businesses that we see or also have a heavy repeat business from past clients and referrals. So I'm much more of the mindset of you should have, many different sources of business, right? It just makes more sense. It's less risky. But then we do have some clients, where they're just hammering realtor.com and they're buying so many leads from them. But, I think some of those clients are also trying to diversify a bit. And again, maybe turn that one client you get from them into like multiple referrals and things like that. So the things that we see working well, I mean, retargeting, obviously you guys are super familiar with that. I think people I'm just bullish on people leveraging their databases more, so rather than just thinking like, how do I buy a new lead? How do I buy a new lead? I think there's this trend to like, okay, well, how can I leverage this database I've built already? How can I be in front of those people using things like email marketing, which is not new, right? But like not everyone's using it in a good way. Leverage social media, leverage retargeting, and just stay in front of those people, build good relationships with them. So yeah, I think that's some of the trends we're seeing. And then there's also, I guess, like there's all these, newer systems like HomeLight, Ojo, systems like that, where they're going to pay you more of a referral fee. So I think that's something else you could be leveraging, because I mean, again, you're not paying anything unless you, you close a deal. So yeah, there's some of the things we're seeing.
I think a lot of people do it backwards, kind of digging into something that you just said, leveraging your database. I mean, everybody starts with a database, and a lot of times we think of a database as a CRM, and a database might just be like the contacts in your phone, or your kindergarten teacher, or your parents, or your friends. Like everybody has a database, not everybody's organizing it. I think a way that people can correct and maybe not go down this path of doing it the wrong way is what happens is a lot of people go out there and get a ton of leads, and then maybe they buy a CRM, and then they're playing catch up from day one because they didn't build a foundation to start. And where we see people have much more success is when they go through and they get a CRM, they establish, they get all their contacts in it, they get it organized, and really build a machine to handle lead flow, or to handle their sphere of influence, or to handle those types of things. And a lot of people just go out and they start with their phone or an Excel sheet or a Word document or like a notepad. And it's a very unorganized way to go out there and do things. And so when you go to buy leads, all you're going to do is amplify this massive train wreck of a problem where you can't follow up, you can't convert, you can't do anything, because you don't have the systems in place to really help you maximize what it is that you're bringing into your business, the opportunity you're bringing into your business. When you guys,
I agree.
Go ahead. Did you have something else you wanted to add to that, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I was just going to say, yeah, we see that all the time. I mean, I think because me and you are very systems orientated thinkers, like a lot of people in real estate are more like people. And so I think there's sometimes like a bit of push and pull there, maybe why that happens, but
100%. Yeah. Well, I believe most realtors are not operators. I think they're more, I don't know, visionary is the right word, but they're more outgoing, extroverted salespeople, right? They just want to close the deals. An unfortunate part of today is like, you're going to have to become somewhat of a systems type person, or have somebody in your business that's focused on those things, because it's one of the only ways that you can really scale. The hustle grind will get you to like 2, 3, 4 million a year, but like not having systems will get you to 20, 30, 40 million a year, in a way that, you probably end up working less, because you've got the right things in place when you're 10xing the production. So there's interesting stuff that we're seeing. When you guys are helping people build automations or follow-up campaigns or any of those types of sales automations to help people convert from a lead generation standpoint, what are some musts? Like when a new lead comes into somebody's business, or a new lead comes into follow-up us, what are things that you guys are teaching people to have in place so that people can effectively follow up with the leads they're generating?
Yeah. So I think probably the number one thing is this speed to lead. Like people have always talked about it for a long time. As long as it's the kind of lead I would just caveat that with, that wants you to follow up with them. So I don't think it applies as much to like if someone just registered on your website, but they didn't, fill out an inquiry. Again, it's just going to depend a little bit on your business, on like how much capacity you have to do follow up, how many leads you're getting. But we definitely see some of our clients that are just generating, thousands of leads, then they're not as focused on some of those registrations, and they're focused more on the people that are putting their hand up. Speed to lead though, definitely, if you're getting any kind of inquiry off like a Zillow or Realtor.com, or off your own website where someone's saying, hey, yeah, I want to talk to an agent, literally just the faster you contact them, that's going to make a massive difference. The other kind of things that I think, pretty high leverage, take a little bit of effort, but then once it's set up, it's just running for you, is personalizing like the email drips that go out or the action plans that you're sending to people. So having ideally some videos in there where you're talking about like the area and like other clients you've helped and things like that, just so people can see you on video, get to know you a little bit. I think that really helps set you apart from like, maybe they probably signed up on multiple sites and they probably got some generic text action plan from some other CRMs. And I think, you just set yourself apart basically. And then, just sort of, I guess, working out what's a good follow-up cadence that you can commit to, right? Because I think that's something we see people struggle with, especially when you are a small business owner, you're juggling all these different hats. Don't make something like so aggressive that like you're never going to keep up with it, then you're going to feel bad and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, especially for those leads that want to talk to someone, it really is like, you've just got to pounce on that, like whatever else you're doing, like you kind of need to jump on it, or think about how you could maybe have an assistant or team up with someone so that, if you're on an appointment, someone else can get to that person right away.
I think that there is a ton of, I don't know if maybe a lack of understanding or so on and so forth. Like, how do I build a system that does all of these things and also try to help people buy, sell, negotiate contracts, appraisals, inspections, all this kind of stuff. Going back to kind of what you originally said, like you brought on a customer base and then you guys kind of grew together. What did you see were like key components to those people developing teams, kind of alluding to what you were just saying, find people that can help you as you're, going through this journey. When you were helping teams create systems and processes and automations and those types of things, what were some of the key things that made really big impacts that somebody listening to this is like, okay, I think I could go ahead and start to build a team, but I need this first. Like I need this key automation. I need this key system.
Yeah, I think the key thing is like mental to start, is like just knowing where you want to go. Because we do see some people as well where they start a team and they hate it. Maybe they recruit the wrong agents. they don't really like managing people. They love real estate. They love selling. And they're making a lot of money as a single agent. And they just, so I think you got to really decide where you want to go. And some of our biggest clients, I mean, I just think they had like these very clear visions of like, they wanted to build really big businesses. And, even if you want to just build a team of 5-10 agents, which is a great size, I actually love teams that size. Like I think it's a nice manageable size, and you can still do tons and tons of business with that many agents. I think sort of what you alluded to, like if you're more of that visionary / the person out in front, like, shaking hands, kissing babies, like how can you bring in someone that can be more of like that admin operator type? So I think definitely as you get bigger, you need that sort of like COO role. I guess you call it in like the software or a lot of other worlds. But even at the small size, I think really just thinking about like, what are your strengths? And if it is more on the selling side and less on the system side, I think just find someone that's really good at that. I think there's also a lot of people out there that don't want to start their own businesses. They don't want to take all the risk. And you can hire people that are like honestly amazing for, less than $100,000 a year. I think some of our clients, have really great people in these type of roles. I mean, certainly there's more expensive people as well, but I think you can find someone really good, team up with them. And I think that's a game changer. Let them work out a lot of the systems. Then there's just more tactical ones. Like if you are getting a team, like you just need things like lead distribution. You can't be sitting there doing it manually yourself. So, most CRMs do that now. We definitely do it at Follow Up Boss. Things like even just setting up a phone system. So like it starts off as like people just call your cell phone, right? But again, like as you grow, like that's going to lead to like missing opportunities and like, someone calls you, you're in an appointment. So things like that. We've actually build a lot of that stuff into our system, but there's lots of other great systems out there as well that can help you route calls and stuff. But it's kind of like removing yourself a little bit from the process. I think as a lot of like service orientated small businesses, myself included when we were smaller and sometimes still today, so you want to control everything. You're like, oh, like I want to make sure this client has the best experience. And so I need to be the one doing it because someone else will screw it up, which is kind of like a fear thing, right? Or maybe you're hiring the wrong people, but like, Yeah, I think it's just you've got to start removing yourself if you want to grow. It's like you can have control or growth, but you can't have both usually.
Yeah. I think a big mistake that people make is they maybe even the opposite is they don't want to control it. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to know how it works. And what happens is they bring those types of people into their business. Well, they didn't teach the person they brought in how to do it. And so it doesn't get done right. Or maybe it gets done a level or two better than you were doing it, but it's still not the best. And you have no way to calibrate that or to know because you didn't spend the time investing in investing in that and developing it and fine tuning it. It's something that we're seeing a ton right now, as a lot of what we do when somebody first becomes a client of ours is like, we have this 90-day plan to help them sell $1 million of real estate. And typically the first 4 to 6 weeks of that, after we get everything set up, is optimization. And we have to teach you to go at this with the right mindset. Like, look, you're doing this so you can fire yourself from doing it. Like, this is not your new job for life. This is just a period. It's a season of work that you need to do building a system, because systems don't fail, people do. So if you build a system that can replicate the results that you're getting, you can step away from it and trust that it's in place and it will perform for you for life, or it might need adjusted or tweaked or whatever. But so many people don't invest that time. They've got 80 other hats that they're wearing. And when you're spending maybe 30 minutes a day, or maybe even 30 minutes every few days, focusing on a task that requires 40 hours a week of attention, like it's crazy, like how average the results can be. But then when you get the right people in place, or you invest the right amount of time to actually create a system around those things, your business just flies off the handle. And it's amazing to see. Before we go any further, a top book recommendation I've been making a lot lately, guys, is a book called Rocket Fuel, written by Gino Wickman, and I can't remember his first name, last name's Winters. It's an amazing book that really talks about the difference between maybe CEOs and COOs, people that are operators mindset, people that have operational mindsets versus people that have more like sales, innovator, visionary type mindsets. And there are key differences. It's not like you're bad or broken. It's just that you're wired differently. And I know Dan can relate with me personally on this, because I've been fighting the same things. We had a conversation about that a few weeks ago, but great book, will really help you understand the way that you're actually wired, and may help you understand how to create an opportunity where you can bring somebody else. I know if we're talking about real estate titans that went through that process, it was Barbara Corcoran. Back early in her real estate career, she wasn't a very good operator, and she went and found a partner that could manage the whole business for her, and she just skyrocketed. And so I just wanted to make that recommendation while we were going through this process. Man, it's been a great conversation, Dan. I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today. I know you're a busy guy. What would be the best way somebody could connect with you or learn more about you or Follow Up Boss if they wanted to?
Yeah, sure. Just our website, followupboss.com. Like, we have a 2-week free trial there. So yeah, you can really get started right away. My email is just Dan at followupboss.com. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm also on Facebook. So, we just do a lot with our Follow Up Boss community there.
Yeah, I love it. And you guys have a great Facebook group as well. But you guys, we'll make sure that we link up all of the ways that you can connect with Dan and learn more about Follow Up Boss in the show notes. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you, Dan, for coming on the show. It's been a great conversation. And I know that anybody listening to this will take away something that will go help them be more efficient, be more productive. So thanks for spending the time and investing it in the show. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for continuing to listen to the Client Generation Podcast. We will see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Client Generation Podcast. Please make sure that you rate and review this episode so that we can continue to bring you more incredible guests to help you grow your business. Thanks, and have an amazing day.